Good afternoon and welcome to this very special show with my guest Mindy Gibbins-Klein, and today's topic is helping aspiring authors get their books out of their heads and into the world. Now that's a phrase that leapt out to me on your webpage. Good afternoon, Mindy.
Yeah. Hey, that's what we do.
All right. It's good to connect. I mean, we've known each other for about the last 10 or 11 years, haven't we, from Academy?
Definitely. 11 years now.
11 years, yeah. Those were the days. The Academy was Facebook before Facebook.
That's right, yeah.
It brought a lot of us together in teaching us how to network, because it's those skills that we're using now, isn't it? On Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and all the rest of the social media.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So that said, my first question.
Expiring. Very funny.
Can anybody write a book?
Yes. I didn't realize that was a question. Can anybody write a book?
Yeah.
Was that a question?
It is a question, yes.
Oh, fabulous. I'm happy to answer that question. Sorry, I was still laughing at Tony's comment. You don't want to die with a book inside you, so before you expire. Yes. Can anybody write a book? Yes. Will everybody write their book? No. Many people, what we're fond of saying is many people want to write a book, but they just never even start. So, they're out of the equation. And many people who start never finish, which is kind of sad because then, you can't get it published. And of those that publish, of those who finish writing, I should say, many of them end up taking too long to get it done. And when they're finished, they're not sure about the result. And so the whole combination is kind of sad. So at the Book Midwife, all we aim to do is ensure that people do it fast and do it well.
Yeah, which brings back your concept of the best book, doesn't it? The best book you can do. Yeah,
the doing it well is optional. Just like with anything in life, you can either do something or you can do it well. And in the case of a book, there are different kinds of people. Some people think, well, I just want to have a book and I don't care, and they never get any help or advice or guidance, and they're proud of themselves, and they can see it in print. Other people really do have a desire to write their best book or give it the best chance, and that's where we come in. Right.
Okay. So when should people get in contact with you? When they've got halfway through? When they've done it? When?
Trick question. I did a new video. Actually, I filmed it a couple of years ago with Adam Shaw. And I put it on the very homepage of my website, the very first thing people see, because so many people ask me that, or they think midwife, the midwife comes in right at the end.
Yeah.
But perhaps we chose the wrong brand name, or I don't know what, but we're the midwife who's doing a fertility clinic, or we're there in the bed with you,
Okay.
Instead of struggling and putting it all together and, doing that DIY, do it yourself, and wondering, and then coming to us, the best work that we do is helping people at the beginning, sifting through the ideas, picking the best ones, getting the concept and the framework and the outline together, and holding somebody's hand all the way through, so that when they get to the end, they have a lot more confidence.
Right. So it works best when people plan their book with your help.
That's my view. We do get people who come to us where they've already written part of a first draft, or they've done their outline, or they think they've done their outline. And they do come to us at all different times. And sometimes they said, we just didn't know. We didn't know you were there. So, slap me now. That's despite all the marketing I've been doing for 14 years, there's more work to be done. So if people don't know that we're here, we can't help it. If they know, but they think, well, let me see how I get on. That's a very common thing as well, Stephen. A lot of people, and they don't want coaching, or they think they don't need help. And this manifests in different parts of their life as well. They just, very sort of independent, self-sufficient, and that's fine. But if somebody has written a whole book, they are not allowed to do our coaching programs.
Right. Okay.
So because it's just too painful to look at something and start to unpick and unpack and unravel what they've done and possibly say, start over. I don't want to say it. They don't want to hear it. So we don't do it.
Right. Okay. So start at the beginning.
Ideally.
Right. Going to the beginning, when did your love of books begin?
Pardon?
When did your love of books begin? I mean,
My love for books began when I was about 3 years old, and my dad, bless him, taught me to read. And I started reading, and then I started writing, and really could never get enough. I remember when I was about 10 years old, I used to go to the library at the school every single day and get out a book because I was returning the one from the day before. So these are, 150 words. That would be very short. 150 pages.
Yeah.
And I went through a whole slew of biographies of famous people. Everything I could get my hands on.
Right. I mean, there isn't a feeling like going into a bookshop, browsing around, and finding the book that takes your eye.
You know what? That's a random approach, and that's fun.
Yeah.
I also think that people are so busy nowadays. They need some guidance. They should subscribe to the right newsletters, feeds. There's Book Bites, Blinkist, and these sorts of services where you can kind of get a feel for things and saves you a bit of time. Mind you, with the Kindle, I have about 89 unread books on my Kindle at the moment. And if I start reading one and it doesn't grab me, I just go to the top left, press home, and go to another one.
Yeah, I was also thinking about the fact that as a reader going into a Waterstones shop, for example, which has got a coffee shop attached, and you can pick up a book and you can read it. Because the physical book is a different experience from a Kindle book, isn't it?
I'm beginning to change my mind about this.
Okay.
I'm open. Well, we were quite late. So I run the publishing company as well, Panoma Press, and we were very late to the ebook market. I think we started doing ebooks about 5 or 6 years ago. I feel we were late, but Kindle was still finding its feet, so that's fine. I enjoy the efficiency of having so many books on my Kindle. It's light. It's it's very easy like that. So I'm beginning to be less of a snob. And the print book is great. I mean, I don't know if you can see behind me, but I have hundreds of books on my shelves there. And that's lovely to have there, and I can pull them off the shelf. And you're right, it's a different experience, but I do believe that ebooks will continue to grow in popularity for that reason. But, it's really up to the person. Some people,
True.
They travel a lot and they can't fit a lot of print books into their suitcase. They haven't got the weight allowance or whatever. So it depends on the situation as well.
Yeah. But Panoma Press is involved in the printed book.
We do. Well, we happen to do the print version and 4 formats of ebook because Kindle's just one, of course. Okay. So there's also the iBook for Apple, there's the Nook, and there's the Kobo. So we tend to cater for all 4 of those, plus the print. So we hedge our bets and we give people every option. What we don't want is for somebody not to get the book or not to have the book available. Yeah. Can I just make a comment on the Waterstones
yes, sure.
situation?
By all means, yeah.
I love Waterstones dearly. I also love the independents a little bit more. And the reason is that it's not so commercial with them. Of course, it's commercial. They run a shop. They want to sell books. They need to make a profit. But they're more open-minded. And the problem is every single bookshop has a limited amount of shelf space.
Okay.
So you'll find, they have room for about usually 20,000 to 40,000 individual books on the shelves. Well, there's 8 million books available, and there's 500,000 new ones coming out every year at least. So they're never all going to get on the shelves. So the ones you find in the shop, how do I put this? Can I be PC?
Do it. Just go for it.
If I'm not being PC, I would say they're not always the best ones. They're the ones that, somebody has paid the buyer to take or has done, some kind of deal. In many cases, it's celebrity skewed. I have a couple of problems with the stores and how they pick books. And they're busy as well. So I do understand. They can't possibly look at 500,000 books and they can't fit them all anyway. But I think we have to be more creative, and people watching us and listening to us should seek out their independent bookstores and give them the business if they want to be in a bookstore.
Good advice, because they're small independent businesses, aren't they, to the main?
Yeah, like us.
Indeed, and we should all be helping each other. Right. How does the process of writing a book start if somebody comes to you?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm opinionated about this.
Don't worry about that.
I think you used the word plan, and that's key. Most people do not do enough planning of their books. And if they're left to their own devices, they usually don't, 99% of the time. They'll just start writing before things are fully formed. Now, with fiction, that can be kind of fun. Mm-hmm. And I've written one novel and I've outlined 2 more. And it's kind of fun not to have everything figured out and, just see how it evolves. And, the book kind of takes on a life of its own. With nonfiction, that could be dangerous.
Yes.
Because you really want it to hit the mark in terms of the right content and the right length. That's really important nowadays. And style and tone and so many things need to be thought about and planned in. Otherwise, you could end up with a book that's not quite right, or too long, too short, and then it's very difficult to edit. So the planning is key, and we obsess with that here at the Book Midwife. So that's one of the things that we're known for. I used to get annoyed because people said, "Oh, structure," their outlines and structure, and I thought, "Oh, that's so boring, is that how you describe what we do and what we offer?" But actually, I've learned to love those words, because without them, people may not have a book at all, or may not have their best book.
Right. So do you need to visualize the end result that you're looking for?
Depends what you mean by that.
Anything you like.
Yeah, because some people say, do a mock-up of your book and design your cover and all of this kind of thing. I think those things are best left to the end. In fact, we don't even start with a title, because even that can take somebody down a rabbit hole. So visualizing the result in terms of what it's going to be like, how it's going to change your life. I have a visualization that I do on my courses, that involves walking down a corridor and various doors opening, because a lot of doors will open when you write a book. I cannot remember if you've written and published full-length books, Stephen. I'm sorry. Have you?
No.
Okay. Anybody who has already knows this. Anybody who hasn't probably, suspects that doors will open. Things start happening when you are the author of a book in print. Ebook, not so much, because, you can't just pick up, an ebook and say, "Oh, here's my latest book. In fact, let me not plug my name." Just happen to have one here.
Yeah, I know. It's a coincidence. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Now, how long have you been with your business?
We started the business. We started in October 2002.
Yeah.
So we're coming up to 14 years. Well, 13 and a half now. Proper teenager. And in that time, the business hasn't really changed very much. It started out with private one-to-one coaching with just me. Then we added group courses in 2005, so quite early on. And we now have a combination of group or private, because, people have different needs. So I always have a small number of my own private clients. I've also developed a team. I have 5 people so far who are coaching clients of the Book Midwife using our process and methodology. So people have a choice, and also their budget, dictates what they can do.
Right. Now, I was very interested to read that you actually operate a pro bono service occasionally.
Yeah, the pro bono is important to me. I meet a lot of people on my journey, and people email me, or they email me about a friend or a relative. This person has such an amazing story, and guess what? They have no money at all. So then over the past 15 years or 14, since I started, I've tried to help people who have a story and haven't got the means. So that's been a theme that's run through. Obviously it's a business, and we need to make profits. But what I always do is I plow some of the profits back into helping other deserving people. So I should have pulled it off the shelf, really. But Kevin Allen's book, Banana Man, was a result. You remember Kevin from the Academy?
I remember Kevin,
Yep. And, that was very important to me. And he said, I don't know how I just cut him off and I said, I want to gift this program to you, because you have a story. And I wasn't sure how his writing would be. As it turned out, he's an amazing writer. And Banana Man, every copy sold feeds a child for a month, the actual concept of it. And the story is fascinating. So if people, I will grab it. Should I grab it from the shelf or not?
Yeah, sure. Go.
Woo! It's yellow, so I can see it. And it's quite easy to understand. It's really lovely. And it's a story. There's no pictures inside. Are there pictures? He should have put pictures because he went to Africa and found an AIDS orphan who had been featured on the TV. The show where Elton John appeared, and big long story, and Kevin had never been to Africa before, and he just felt compelled to go, and he tells the tale of how he eventually finds the boy and how he eventually decides to sponsor the entire school. So he thought that it was 300 kids and he'd be giving them some fruit in the morning, encourage them to come to school because they had this long walk in bare feet. On an incredible story. And then it turned out there were 900 kids, but he'd already committed and he didn't want to let them down. So he got a part-time job when he got back to Liverpool. And just incredible story. Incredible. And that's the kind of story that I feel should be in print. And therefore I can put my own time and efforts and expertise behind it. And I can choose to do a pro bono project whenever I want and whenever, my time and budget allows.
Indeed. Now, this is in two parts of our conversation today because you're actually currently fundraising, aren't you, to extend that area of your business. Can you tell us some more about that?
Definitely. So there's a competition called #VOOM, VOOM. A lot of people will have seen it or they'll know somebody who's pitching. And it gives new businesses as well as existing businesses like mine the chance to pitch to Richard Branson eventually if you get all the way through. But it's been an opportunity to kind of put together our story. It's raised awareness. And the easiest thing for people to do would be just to search for the Book Midwife on Voom. And the thing about Voom, and I'm saying this for the viewers, you may have already voted for someone. You can vote for more than one company. And it takes 3 seconds. So nobody's competing. In fact, I've voted for all my friends as well as asking them and the rest of our tribe to vote for all of us because, we all win with this increased visibility and awareness. So thank you for allowing me to mention it, Stephen.
No,
#Voom.
We'll go one stage further.
Oh, wow. You are amazing. Oh gosh, my face. I don't know why it chose that frame, but despite my very serious face there, I think it's a reasonably good pitch. We're also offering, as you can see, a number of people have already done the crowdfunding, and where we're offering books and coaching at a reduced rate. I mean, some people have figured this out now. So I would encourage people to look at that because you will not find coaching with me at those rates anywhere else.
Right. So if people click the link, they can find out more about the program.
Oh, yeah. They can vote, which takes 3 seconds and it's free.
Yeah.
And if they choose to pledge any money, they can have some amazing rewards.
Wonderful. All I can say is vote for Mindy. I did last week. And as Mindy said, it only takes 3 seconds. And
it's free.
It's free. You can help.
Thank you.
Yeah. How do you learn about it?
How do I do what?
How do you learn about it?
I received an email. So I think that's because I voted last year for 2 different companies, friends of mine, again, who didn't get through, but, I'd forgotten all about it. And then I was sent an email saying, do your pitch. And I thought, who, me? All the fears and everything came up. And then I thought, why not? And I just kind of got my video guys in and we created that. That was the hardest part.
Indeed.
As you can see, we ladies often don't like the way we look on video and things. So I was like, oh God, I have to do a video, but you do have to do one. You can't submit opinion with that one.
The video got the message across. And
yeah, I think so. You have to stick to 90 seconds. That's not a lot of time to get something across. So that in itself was a good challenge, and I'm glad I did it, and we still have that video.
Indeed. Now, the fundraising side of it, you want to just run through that?
Yeah, absolutely. The fundraising, we would like to do more pro bono work. As I've said a moment ago, I can do what I can do depending on, if time and budget allow. I can help people who haven't got the means to work with us. I give people, places on my courses, materials, time with me. So to expand that, I can't ask my coaches to do that. I can do that because I'm the owner of the company.
Yes.
But I can actually expand that, and we can help more people on a pro bono basis if we've got more funds for that specific activity. That was the idea behind it. I've got some wonderful, wonderful coaches, all of whom have written books. And as I say, they believe passionately in people's storytelling and message delivery.
Yeah.
It's just that some people are in a situation, whatever, through no fault of their own. And they say, well, maybe next year or something like that, which is kind of sad. So the fundraising is important. We've chosen the option where no matter how much we raise, it will all go into the budget. So some of them are all or nothing. And we don't want to do that because, even if we raise a few £1,000s, that will help.
Yes.
But I must admit, I haven't pushed the fundraising that much, and you can tell because, most people have voted and not pledged, which is fine. I guess I just don't really know how to put it across, and it's up to people if they want to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, but it is for a very good reason. It is to help people publish a book which will help other people. Because all the books that are actually in your, as you say, you've been in contact with over 1,000 authors. There are over 500 books published, and they're books that help people, aren't they?
Yeah. That we don't really help with fiction. Although fiction can help people as well, that can distract you from your current problems and, create imagination. But it's very hard to coach. So we don't tend to coach people through fiction. But the books that we do are business books, enterprise entrepreneurial books, self-help and coaching books. And these are all books that help people and their business. Indeed.
No, you yourself, or you're just shown as a book, so we know you are. You're a published author. What was getting your first book out like? How long did it take?
Oh my goodness. I tell this story from the stage because it sounds unreal to me, and I have to keep saying it to remember that it wasn't all 90-day programs and slick and efficient and all this. No, it took me 10 years to do my first book. 10 years.
Yeah. I can understand that. It would take me that long as well.
Without help, it would take you that long.
Oh yeah.
So that's the nuance there. I didn't know there was help available. Maybe there wasn't back then. This was 20 years ago now, more. About 20 years ago. And I started it, 25 years ago when I first moved to the UK. And I just had a passion, but that's not always enough.
Yeah.
And then I kept asking advice from agents and publishers and editors. And people want to earn their money. So they tell me, change that, remove that, expand that, move that, blah, 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 change the ending. And I'd keep doing all of these things and resubmitting, and it still wasn't getting into print. And I just started feeling dejected. And, I'd done that work, and it made me lose confidence in myself to the point where I very nearly didn't publish it at all. And it was only because I found a very helpful cooperative publisher, ironically one that I modeled my own publishing business on, who partnered with me, the author, and we got it done. And before I had a chance to think about it, it was in print. Right.
So you listen, in the end, having had advice from everybody who wanted to help you, genuinely wanted to help you, you listened to the one voice that you trusted.
Yeah, everything is subjective, Stephen. That's what I'm always saying to my clients. And we know this, but you have to know it and feel it inside. How somebody's words of advice or their opinion can be well-intentioned, well-meaning, but just wrong for you and your book.
Yeah.
Even me. Even I might say something to somebody, I'll really aim to give the best advice for that person in that situation for that book. But, don't just have blind faith in anybody. I'm going way beyond the book sphere here, but, it's part of my philosophy that despite my belief in coaching and mentoring, I really think people still need to kind of have a filter and run every new idea and piece of advice through that filter, which is a values-based filter. Does it feel right for you? Does, take a moment, because everyone, you go from pillar to post like a little pinball in a pinball machine, bing, bing, bing. Oh, this person said, do that, go here, go there, expand this, and you can go crazy.
Yeah. So it's your idea. You want to progress in a planned way. Yeah. And do it. I'm looking for a word. Structured way.
In a structured way. Have a business approach to it. Especially if it's a book that's related to your business or is going to help you. If it's part of your business, then it makes sense to treat it in a business-like way, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It's a project which has got to be.
It's a business project.
Taken seriously.
To make it very boring, it's a project.
Right. So essentially, you're saying that a book can be. You can. Right. Okay. Going back to your best book again. Can you produce your best book within the 90 days?
Oh, definitely. Not published and in print unless somebody really wants to rush that part of things, but the goal that we have every time, in fact, I have a lady coming along in a half an hour's time to start the process with a blank sheet of paper like we do. And within 90 days, she will have done the whole plan, which will start today and will make amazing progress. And then she will have created the first draft, the second draft, had feedback and created her what we call the third and final draft by day 90, assuming she sticks to the process, sticks to the plan, puts the time in. It's about 8 hours a week is what we've got it down to, about 8 hours of writing per week for the 12 or 13 weeks, and then you're done.
Yeah, so you commit, you've got to commit to it.
You have got to, and that's tough for some people. I'm working with an executive, just got off the phone with him, very, very senior person at a major corporation, and he thought, I'm going to, 8 hours, I'll just make it a business project, but he's in demand and things have come up and he's had to get on a plane and he's finding it tough, but you have to, otherwise it'll never happen. And that's the beauty of being on a program of some kind and having accountability. And he said, I knew I was talking to you, so I made sure that I had it done.
Yes. As you said earlier, if you start doing it all yourself, which you can, then it's going to take longer. And you may meander a bit, and and
you might quit.
Now, we talked earlier, and I want to say before we just take a break for a moment. Welcome to Anne and Solution Turk, and to Lynn, and to everybody who's joined us. I'm enjoying chatting at the moment, and hopefully we shall answer your questions in about 10 minutes' time when we switch off the recording. So being committed to it, and the best book now. You've taken people through to the fact that the drafts have been done. We've got the final copy. Now we get to the design of the book and the artwork.
Well, the Book Midwife is a coaching company, and somebody's trying to catch me. See, we're so in demand. I'm just going to let it run to the machine. Okay. Little sort of background music for us. So the Book Midwife is a coaching company. Yeah. We're not a publishing company.
Okay.
And that's a really important distinction, because I have, funny enough, the catalog for Panoma Press.
Yep.
Books that change lives.
Brilliant.
And that's a publishing company. I believe it's important to separate the process. In our case, we've separated the companies, although we do work together. Mm-hmm. But in some cases we don't. So for the viewers, it's important that you just stick to the planning and writing while you're planning and writing. What I've found is a lot of people get hung up on publishing, and are they going to publish, and how are they going to publish, and when, and all the whys and wherefores, and they haven't even started writing the book. And to be honest, they're at risk of never writing that book. So what is the point in finding out all about publishing for a book that you're at risk of never writing? So that's me being a bit tongue-in-cheek cynical.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it's based on many years of experience, and nearly losing my voice talking to people for hours on end about publishing when that wasn't what they needed to focus on. If you're a viewer, either live or watching the replay, and you have not yet written your book, just park the publishing. Park it. Just put it on the back burner. Yeah. There's many options. Yes, you will get into print. That's the great thing about being in 2016. There's so many options and ways to publish a book. That is not your main concern, because, with all due respect, you're still at risk of never writing the darn thing. So publishing, yes, if you do finish, and you're confident about the result, which is what we hope, then there's the editing, design, production, print, launch, sales and distribution, and ongoing sales and distribution. So there's sort of 5 or 6 steps after that, which are best done by a publishing company. Oh, they're really being persistent here. It's probably my 2 o'clock, but
all right, excellent.
She's early. If it rings the 3rd time, I will get it.
Right,
because and I'll just check my mobile as well. No, it's all very well to say yes, it's coming from my call center. The next time I'll pick it up, if that's all right.
Okay, yeah, I'll switch.
We'll probably done.
Off. Right, now, what doors does publishing a book open to you? What's the benefit of it?
Well, many people just want to write the book and they have a lot of satisfaction just writing it. Publishing means it's going to be in print, you can wave it around. This is Kevin's one, this is my one. You can walk into a meeting and say, I've brought you my book. I've given you I've signed it and whatever. And there's so many options that open up. I mean, myself and my clients, we've had speaking engagements, business opportunities, people who are the authors of good books in print, solid, hard-hitting, thought-leading books, tend to be able to raise their fees. They're in demand. They're all sorts of things. And that's the commercial side, and that's because we talk about business books.
Yes.
Across the board, even for books that are not related to business, you get the sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. You get to leave a legacy. You get all those intangibles. And for some people, that's enough reason. The book itself is not going to be a big revenue generator because of the big chunk that is taken from the sales channel, the bookstore, the wholesaler, everybody takes their little piece. The author makes whatever, 50p or £1 or maybe £2 per book. It's very, very hard to retire on that. Even if you sell 50,000 in the book's lifetime, which is an amazing, huge stretch goal. Yeah. If you stretch that across 5-6 years, you can't even pay off your mortgage. So it's really important to look at all the other ways in which the book can lead to revenues and other things. You
mentioned earlier the doors analogy, and once you publish the book, the doors begin to open.
They do begin to open.
Push through and walk into the room, and it can be a meeting, it can be anything you want it to be, but you're there as somebody who's an expert. Not wrong.
That's right.
We like the word, don't like the word. But expert's good.
It gives people confidence in you.
Yeah.
The word credibility comes up. It's a real tangible credibility item.
Yes.
People say a book is a business card. No, it's not, because a business card is, anybody can have a business card. A proper book, properly done, one that turns heads and shakes things up and impresses people, well, that's a thought leadership tool.
Excellent. That sums everything up. Right now, I'm aware of your time and the fact that your client is calling you. So what I'm going to do now is say thank you very much, Mindy Gibbins-Klein.
I do want to mention Annie's comment.
Okay, sure. I'm not.
She just said you get 70% from Amazon. That is only on a Kindle, and the Kindle prices tend to be lower. So you still, the maximum you can earn is £2 or £3. The market just won't bear a lot more than that. And on print books, obviously, you get less, and then there's the print cost. And so, maybe, stretch it to £3 per book, but it's still quite hard to retire on that. That's why I say that, Annie.
All right. Yeah, thank you for the question, Annie, and thank you to everybody who's joined us. Mindy, it's been a pleasure I'm going to switch off the recording in a moment. If you'd just like to thank everyone who's joined us, and then we'll go off recording and then just wind down until about another 10 minutes or so. Yeah?
Yep, definitely.
All right, so if you just like to say thank you.
Thank you. Oh, I thought you were saying thank you. Well, thank you. Thank you, Stephen. And thank you to the viewers, both the live viewers and also people watching the replay. And you can find me online all over the place. Just type Book Midwife on any platform.
Indeed. If you type Book Midwife, Google is very friendly, because Mindy has been publishing books for the last 14 years. Sorry, helping people to write.
Oh, thank you. Good distinction.
The last 14 years. And at the moment, if you track back in the links on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see a link to Mindy's page, which is currently fundraising as part of the Virgin scheme. Can you just explain that again just quickly?
Yes, certainly. There's a competition going on. It's the biggest pitching competition in the UK every year. And those people who get through to the finals will get to pitch to Richard Branson. I'm not expecting that. It would be fantastic if it happened. But we could use some votes just to give us a little better ranking and have a better chance at doing some of the pitching to the other stages. So we're pitching for funding as well. Pledge, if you want to pledge some money, you can get some coaching with myself at a reduced rate. You can also pay it forward, and that there's a pay it forward reward for £100. You get time with me, and you get to gift a half an hour's call to someone else, which is immediately pro bono pay it forward stuff. So we're excited. Please have a look. It takes 3 seconds to vote, and that bit's free.
Wonderful. Thank you to everybody who's watched us. Thank you to everybody who sees the replay. It's been a pleasure chatting, and we'll pause the recording now.